You're listening to Tripod, a podcast produced by Tricycle Creative to help safely navigate creative business owners through the worlds of digital marketing, strategic content creation, and business growth. Host Ross Erosion is a marketing consultant, content creator, and entrepreneur who brings you helpful tips, social media updates, inspiring interviews, and his own unique perspective on how to tell your story and grow your business. So if you're interested in being a better marketer, business owner, or creator, sit back, relax, and let's get pedaling.
Small business owners have a bad but respectable habit. They don't quit. You've heard the scary stats about how many small businesses fail within 5 years. And in my experience, a majority of the businesses that do fail, it's not because the business owner quit. It's because the business imploded. There's a Netflix series called Home Game, and it's a docu-series that profiles unique and dangerous traditional sports from around the world, as well as the communities and cultures where they thrive. That's taken directly from the Netflix site, in case you didn't know. And one of the sports featured in the series is free diving, which is when people see how deep they can dive without an oxygen tank or any sort of breathing apparatus. It's a fascinating episode and one that really explores the limits of the human body and spirit.
Freediving is as simple as it sounds. Divers go into the water as deep as they can on a single breath.
Freediving is 20% physical and 80% mental.
It's a self-discipline, inside-looking sport. It's all about you. Nobody else can solve the problems.
Everybody thinks it's about techniques, but it's actually about being calm.
Freediving isn't just about competition. Freediving is the ability to go out on a reef, snorkel down. It's all just another extension of holding your breath.
It's challenging yourself to go deeper and deeper.
Freediving is more about exploring your limits.
This show showcases the push and pull between growth and limitations. And in the case of freediving, limitations so severe they could actually result in death. Now, if you're a small business owner who isn't operating with a trust fund, then guess what? You're freediving. Your day-to-day is a push and pull between growing your business and keeping your business afloat. Of course, as you have success along the way, the likelihood of the business failing seems to be as far away as the surface of the water is to the freedivers. But if you're not careful or too arrogant, one day you'll find that you're too deep and you will suffer disastrous consequences. Let's stop here for a second. If you're scared, depressed, or otherwise affected by what I've said, good. Those are realities. But just because something has the potentially scary outcome does not mean that you shouldn't do it. If that were the case, you'd probably be paralyzed by fear and not be able to do anything. Why drive a car if I could get into an accident? Why speak in public if people will laugh at me? Why eat something new if I could get sick? Why start a romantic relationship if it could end up in heartbreak? Why start a business if it could fail? You'll be faced with many crossroads as a small business owner, and you won't always know the quote-unquote right answer. When I work with coaching clients, they all want to know the right answer. But what do you do if you can't figure out the right and wrong answers? That brings me to today's book report, but first, a word from our sponsor. It probably comes as no surprise to you that Instagram is the favorite social media platform among creative business owners. Instagram also continues to find new and interesting ways for small businesses to generate revenue, promote their products, their service, their expertise. But Instagram does have a major limitation: external links. They won't work in your captions, and you can only use them in stories if you have a large follower count. Sure, they give you link in bio, but that's just one link. Problem solved with Solo.to. Solo.to is one bio link for everything. When you create a Solo.to account, you can showcase tons of links for your business, And if you're a creator like me, you can even embed music, videos, and podcasts right there on Instagram from your favorite platforms. Want to see Solo.to in action? Head on over to Tricycle Creative's Instagram account @HelloTricycle and click the link in our bio. Solo.to offers a free plan to get you started, and you can upgrade for as little as $1 a month. Use the referral link in this episode's description and in the show notes, and you can save 10% off any upgrade package within 48 hours of signing up. Solo.to. It's one bio link for everything. Let's go back to my example of freediving and apply a concept of quitting. Freedivers are competitors. They don't want to quit. But an inability to understand their limitations can quite literally be deadly. That doesn't mean they can't keep improving, but they must do it incrementally and understand when they need to quit. Seth Godin's book, The Dip, can help you quit the wrong stuff or stick with the right stuff and figure out how to have the guts to do one or the other. Its core premise is this: strategic quitting is the secret of successful organizations. Reactive quitting and serial quitting are the bane of those that strive and fail to get what they want. And most people do just that. They quit when it's painful and stick when they can't be bothered to quit. To further illustrate this point, I'm going to attempt to play some theater of the mind radio magic here, okay? To illustrate his point, Seth kind of presents a graph, and it has results on the y-axis, that's vertical, and effort on the x-axis, which is horizontal. You with me so far? You then have an upward curve starting at about a quarter of the way up on the results or the vertical axis, and it starts to dip down about halfway along the horizontal axis. Where it drops the lowest, that's the dip. And from that point, the line shoots up like a hockey stick. And that's visualizing where continued efforts can yield dramatic increase in results. Now, if you couldn't quite visualize that, I will include the graph in the show notes, tripodpodcast.com, also a link in this show's description. The dip is a long slog between starting and mastery. It's a combination of bureaucracy and busy work that you must deal with in order to, like, say, get certified in scuba diving, right? It's a long stretch between beginner's luck and real accomplishments. And as Seth emphasizes, successful people don't just ride out the dip. They don't just buckle down and survive it. No, they lean into the dip. They push harder, changing the rules as they go. Just because you know you're in the dip doesn't mean you have to live happily with it. Dips don't last quite as long when you whittle at them. I absolutely love this book, and it's literally one that I read over and over again. There's a major thing that I want you to be aware of when we're talking about this book, and it's this concept of quitting before you start. And Seth introduces this in the book, and it's simply a way to identify the conditions under which you would quit at the beginning of a project before you get too deep, like an oxygen-deprived freediver who gets confused and blacks out. It's an assignment, and it goes like this. Write it down. Write down under what circumstances you're willing to quit and when, and then stick with it. And this is easy enough. You can even add this as a column when you're setting your goals or when you're sitting down and thinking about a project. Under what conditions would you quit and when, and stick to it. The stakes for a freediver and a small business owner may seem like they're worlds apart, but I think there are a lot of similarities if you look close enough. It's the risk to reward ratio. You know, the higher the risk, the better the reward. And the dip takes this concept further and provides actionable advice and tips so that you can assess objectively how far you want to go. There's a final concept I'll leave you with from the dip. And I think about it constantly, and it's this. Are you willing to go through the pain to experience the pleasure? You don't have to have one answer to this question. When it comes to your business, the pain, the pleasure, and the profit can certainly vary depending on the project, but you should always be asking yourself, should I stick or should I quit? If you found this book report informative and you're thinking about buying the dip, please consider using the affiliate link in the description and in the show notes at tripodpodcast.com. If you purchase the book at no extra cost to you, I'll get a small referral payment, and that helps to support all my content creating efforts, including this podcast or videos, blogs, whatever. So until next time, I encourage you to keep pedaling.
Thanks for listening to Tripod. Be sure to subscribe and rate the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. For show notes and past episodes, go to tripodpodcast.com. Connect with Tricycle Creative on social media at Hello Tricycle and learn more about how we can help you with your marketing at tricycle-creative.com.